Right, here are my grades. As you can see, I did pretty well, so I think I'm qualified to do this video. Yeah. In most law schools around the world, the subjects in your law degree broadly fall into three categories: your substantive law subjects, your theoretical law subjects, and your practical law subjects. The most juicy component of your law degree, because that's where you actually learn the law in different areas. And these areas are split between public law and private law. Public law is basically laws that govern the rights and obligations between state and state, or state and individual. And examples include, criminal law, the constitution, international law, and administrative law. While private law governs the rights and obligations between individuals and businesses. Examples are like contract law, torts, which include negligence and defamation, real property law, corporate law, and a bunch of whole others. And every substantive law subject follows a similar pattern. Basically, there are a bunch of issues, and each issue has a rule, and each rule has specific elements which need to be satisfied for that rule to apply, and each element has its own multiple exceptions. For example, let's say the issue is murder. The rule is that murder is illegal, obviously, and the elements are actus reus and mens rea, and exceptions include involuntary action and mental illness. This is the basic structure of how we learn the law, and also the basic structure of textbooks. This is an example of what you normally read in a year. Yes, you do actually have to read them, and yes, they're thick. You can see the structure of the textbook. Here you have your issues, you have like the rules, the exceptions, and like case extracts and legislation. But we can't just rely on the textbook. We also have to read, the legislation and the cases. I ain't joking when we say we've got a lot of reading to do, yeah. Alright, so the cool thing about law exams is that you get to solve a story. Here's a sample question from my criminal law exam. As you can see here, you're given a hypothetical scenario, and then you're asked to analyze the rights, obligations, and liabilities of the parties involved. Damn, that's dark. Anyways, moving on. How do we exactly answer these law exam questions? Most law schools teach the IRAC method, which is a way to craft your legal arguments. First, you identify the issue, what went wrong in the problem. Then you identify the relevant rules that apply to the problem. Then you apply those rules and see if they've been breached. And then you conclude as to the rights, obligations, and remedies of the parties involved. So as you can see here, law is not a memory game. In fact, most of our exams are open book. You get most of your points from this bit, the application, and that's where the true skill comes in. Here's an example of my corporate law exam notes. So what we normally do is that we first prepare a closed passage where we prepare explanations of the law, and then on exam day, we just plug in the relevant facts into the variables. Take a long time to prepare. So that's why they're often very valuable in the law school community. Yes! Oh snap, we're still rolling? These are basically your theory. You learn about foundations of the legal system, legal ethics, and jurisprudence, which is a fancy word for legal philosophy. Into philosophy and stuff like that, then I guess this would be a favorite component. But for me, these are the subjects where you mainly write your essays. The natural law and positive law illustrated and argued in Antigone, which views... I get PTSD from this stuff, man. Finally, for your practical law subjects, you learn the practical skills such as how to write advices, how to file documents in court, how to negotiate, etc. All the fun stuff that lawyers do. Yeah. Component really depends on your law school. Some law schools offer placements, some don't. Also, depending on where you're based, you may also have to take a bar exam after you finish uni to actually become a lawyer. Based in New South Wales, Australia, which means I only have to complete my law degree and the practical component in order to be qualified as a lawyer. Finally, the ultimate question, should you study law? Well, law teaches you mad detective and argument skills. You also get to know your rights. All law students become lawyers. Even so, their law degree is very highly looked upon in many different industries. Hard, it's not an easy degree, and there's lots of reading, so just take that into account. And yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Bye.